everyone, One Big Boss. As you can tell by the title of the video that you clicked on, we are talking Resident Evil, but more specifically, the synopsis for the Resident Evil Netflix series has dropped this morning, and why? If you literally read what this says, this is straight up fanfiction.net stuff, ladies and gentlemen, okay? This is literally, I don't even know what this is. Like, oh God. So here is the synopsis for how this reads, because you guys, this is good. When the Wesker kids move to New Raccoon City, the secrets they uncover might just be the end of everything. Resident Evil, a new live-action series based on Capcom's legendary survival horror franchise, is coming to Netflix. Why? I don't know how hard it is for you to actually adapt this into something, or at least something people want. If you guys remember, there was a short that came out called Dave or Arclay, and me and the guys over the Residents of Evil, we actually interviewed the guys that were making that, and you could tell there was a lot of love for Resident Evil in this, right? Now, obviously, they couldn't use Resident Evil or really anything specific because, copyrighted stuff, and, they were hoping this would get picked up, and obviously it didn't. How does that, which looks fucking awesome, by the way, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. How does that get passed over, but this that was dreamt up by like a 5-year-old is getting on Netflix? Now, Netflix has done a lot of good with things like Castlevania, and the new Dragon's Dogma anime looks interesting. I'm not really super amped up for the style, but I do enjoy Dragon's Dogma, and I'm glad to see that it's getting some extra love. But Resident Evil writes itself. Over 20 freaking years you have of characters, storylines, and I'm not saying you have to go and directly make it like the same as the games, but you can build so much upon this. I am not joking, guys. You can literally just go into any Resident Evil forum or wiki page and read the story of these things. It writes itself. Okay, Netflix, here's what I'm gonna do for you, right? I am gonna tell you right now how you're gonna redo this series, because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you actually go through with this, it is gonna be canceled after season 1. Because the backlash of this, nobody's excited. So here's how you're gonna do it the right way. Season 1, right? We can split this up into kind of 3 separate parts. We have a few episodes at the beginning focusing on the STARS members, and we have some, flashbacks to the mansion when the mansion was like, up and running before the outbreak happened. That is something that we would do right there. You would start there, build the characters, kind of like S.D. Perry did in the Umbrella Conspiracy novel, where we got to learn, and see other characters interact with one another. Things like that is good for character building and almost world building in many ways, right? You can find out like how Umbrella is invested in Raccoon City and the stars and everything like that. You would have it perfect. Then about, maybe episode 3, you would have them going on the adventure for Resident Evil 0. Set that up first, right? You do that, and you have that be like, 5-6 episodes, or whatever the case may be, right? You do that, and you focus on Rebecca and Billy, and come across some of the other members of Bravo Team that's there. Change it up a little bit. You're a little free to work with that, People like Resident Evil 0, but they also don't like a lot of the plot elements to it as well. And, really focus on Rebecca and Billy not trusting each other, obviously, at first, because in the game, they kind of trust each other way too quick. It's just like, hey, we gotta work together. There's some freaked out things on this train. She's like, oh, okay, let's do that. Kind of like forgetting almost that he was a convict for most of the time, right? They just kind of instantly start working together. So right there, I think you can build upon their relationship about the two of them being not so on each other's team at first, but realize they have to be, but at the same time, still not trusting of one another, because she sees him as a criminal, and he sees her as a law enforcement officer that will bring him in if they survive this. Perfect, right? A couple episodes with that right there. Then, at the end, you move to Resident Evil 1, or at least Resident Evil Remake, right? And you keep Rebecca the same, but she loses her gun along the way, finds Richard, all this kind of stuff, anything like that. And you make her competent, but still kind of shook from the previous night because she's still young and inexperienced, right? So she's kind of still shocked by everything, right? It's finally coming to her. Like the adrenaline has died down. Now she's in another nightmare again. and something like that you could build upon. You know, Barry and Wesker meeting from time to time in the mansion, like where he torments them, kind of like he does in the S.D. Perry novels. Again, S.D. Perry did it really good with her novels. You could show flashbacks and backstory to Lisa Trevor, the experiments being done to her and her mother, like the readings of George Trevor where people are reading it. Again, live action could work, but I think Resident Evil would do way better as an anime done in the style like Castlevania was done, because they've proven they can do horror, they do bloody, and it looks friggin' fantastic. So if you can't do live action, anime's the way to go. Right there, and then you finish off the rest of Season 1 as Resident Evil 1 finishes off, right? Season 2 is obviously going to be Resident Evil 2. Now, I thought about this. Could you actually have Resident Evil 2 and 3 together in one season, like you did with RE0 and RE1? And I would like to say yes, but don't do that, right? Here's what you do. Do what S.D. Perry did with Calvine Cove. You could actually have the meeting of the STARS members, all of them getting attacked. Barry had moved his family to Canada. He came back to Raccoon City to help Chris and Jill and Rebecca. They start investigating the RPD a little bit more, everything that's happened. And obviously they get attacked by Umbrella soldiers in Barry's house. They escape, and that's when they all realize that they have to leave the city, but Jill stays behind in order to figure out what's going on. First 2 episodes of Season 2, right there. Episode 3, you move right into Leon and Claire and just have it be about them for the rest of the time. Have a small segment of Ada getting into the city. Perfect. Right there, that's all you need. Season 2 can carry the rest of the way with how the original Resident Evil 2 was written, and even things about Resident Evil 2 remake itself can be thrown in there, because you can combine both to make them work. Season 3. Resident Evil 3 can stand on its own. Nemesis by himself, you know, like Jill, Carlos, all that stuff before. You could have Jill suffering the effects of PTSD, which they would show in Season 2 a little bit. Like, you know, it looks like she's not sleeping well. She's kind of tired, and Chris can even, like, remark on that. It's like, hey, have you been sleeping at all? You know, things like that. Continue that into, because again, S.D. Perry did that in her novel, and Resident Evil 3 Remake did that as well. Granted, they didn't keep the PTSD going as long in the game as I think they should have, but which can play a huge part in Resident Evil Resident Evil Season 3. Right? You can have that. When she's infected by the Nemesis virus, she can have nightmares and stuff, and comics have shown stuff like that before. S.D. Perry did it. I think you would have something really tremendous if you did something like that, right? Right there, again, Season 3 is all you need. And the destruction of Raccoon City, they could have maybe a short segment of how Ada and Hunk escaped, right? You could do something like that towards the end. And then after that, Season 4 being Code Veronica, I'm not so sure on that one. You could do it, and then Resident Evil 4 would be Season 5, Resident Evil 5 would be Season 6, and 6 would be Season 7. You could throw in Revelations if you wanted. You have a blueprint to work with these things, but yet you choose... If you're trying to outdo Paul W.S. Anderson right now, you are succeeding, because this seems even more batshit insane than the stuff that he created. Because now you're just taking characters and things that do exist sooner than he did, and you're just... Like, I'm not trying to, like, crap on any creators or people writing this show, but this is not going to end the way you want it to. This is going to receive so much backlash. All right, and I really hope it doesn't turn out like a Resident Evil Anderson thing where people watch it because they think it's awesome and amazing because they've never played the games. Because let's face it, those Anderson movies are horrible. You can like them because there are some aspects I do love about those movies, but they're garbage. So, Netflix, cancel this right now, rethink it, turn it into an anime. You've got Dragon's Dogma coming from a Capcom property. They want to do Devil May Cry. Just do Resident Evil. Because if you do this, the chances of a Resident Evil anime or a Resident Evil live action series being greenlit by anybody in the future, when this thing eventually flops, because it probably will, we are never going to see something like this probably ever again in Resident Evil's history, because they will not take a chance at something failing like this. So, that's my 2 cents, guys. You've heard what I've had to say. What are your 2 cents? Let me know down in the comments below. How pissed are you right now if you're a Resident Evil fan? So, please, thumbs up and subscribe because it's free, and in this day and age, free is a damn good thing. As always, everybody, thank you for watching. I'm One Big Boss, and I will see you all next time.
Hey guys, thanks again for watching this video. If you can give it a share, that'd help my channel out big time. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where I'm most active. Links down below in the description. Also, if you want to see me stream some video games, follow me on my Twitch channel as well. Many thanks again, guys. Greatly appreciate it.